Okay. So we'll begin on a pillow or a folded blanket. You can sit on a block if you'd like. And we'll feel our sitting bones connect with the ground. Feel the crown of our head pull up toward the ceiling. Let our shoulders fall away from our ears. And let our hands rest gently on our lap or on our knees. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes. And we'll begin to move the breath smoothly and deeply. And if it feels all right, you can restrict your breath to your nose, breathing in and out through your nose. And we'll begin to roll our shoulders, making circles backwards. And then we'll go the other way and make circles forwards. And we'll move our neck side to side or tilting or looking up and down, whatever feels good. Good. And we'll stretch out our wrists a little bit. You can extend one straight out and gently bring your palms together and fold back. Just getting a gentle stretch on one wrist. And then the wrist that's up, we'll flip it downward and pull back the other direction, just gently. And then we'll switch sides, starting with the palm up and pulling it back. And then letting the fingers fall down and pulling your fingers towards you. And we'll just do a gentle twist. So on an inhale, we'll bring the arms up, growing tall. And on an exhale, you can bring the left arm in front of you, right arm behind, and gently twist to the right. If you're pregnant, just keep the twists gentle. And even if you're not, don't go too deeply into the twist, since we're just at the beginning of the practice. With each inhale, feel yourself grow taller. And with each exhale, see if you can soften into your twist. And try to keep both sitting bones on the ground. Good. And come back to the front. And inhale, bring the arms up. Grow tall through the spine. And exhale to turn to the left. You can use your fingers to both help you grow taller and to turn. But keep both sitting bones square to the ground so that you can keep the twist in the upper part of your back. And come back to center. And we'll move on to hands and knees to get ready for cat-cow. And you can put a blanket or a pillow underneath your knees for support if you like. You want to try to keep your hips over your knees and your shoulders over your wrists. And on an inhale, we'll bring the chest forward and drop the belly. Then we'll exhale to round, letting the shoulders fall forward and your head fall down. Inhale to bring the chest forward. And exhale to round. Good. And you can make your way back to neutral spine, and we'll do a couple tigers. So we'll lift the right foot back, seeing if you can get your thigh about parallel to the ground. If it doesn't quite go up that high, that's fine. So we'll inhale to lift up, and we'll exhale to bring the knee in towards your chest. Inhale to lift the knee, and exhale to bring it in. And just move as much as feels good. Good. Then we'll switch and go to the other side, bringing the left foot back, seeing if you can get that left thigh about parallel to the ground. And on an exhale, we'll bring the knee toward the chest. Inhaling to lift it back up, and exhaling to pull it in. Good. And we'll go ahead and move into a child's pose. So bringing your knees wide, bringing your toes together. If you're sitting on a pillow or blanket, you're welcome to bring it forward for your chest or your forehead. You're always welcome to put a blanket under your knees or behind your knees. You can walk your fingertips forward if that feels all right in your shoulders. Go ahead and spread the fingers wide and pressing down through all 10 of your fingers. And go ahead and tuck the toes and start moving your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And we can keep the legs bent. You can always keep your legs bent in downward dog, but especially when you're doing the first one of the day, it's a good idea to just keep them bent. And if you'd like, you can pedal your feet, straightening one at a time. Continuing to press down evenly through both hands and pressing through all 10 of your fingers. Good. Then we'll go ahead and shift the weight forward, bringing the shoulders over the wrists, and you're welcome to drop your knees down in the plank. If you're pregnant, go ahead and drop them, or if you just like a modification, you can drop your knees down. Otherwise, you can lift them up. And lift your lower belly up. Bring your chest forward. Pull your heels away from you and keep your shoulders over your wrists. Continuing to press down through all 10 of your fingers. We'll see if we can hold for about 3 more breaths. And on your next inhale, you can go ahead and pull back into downward facing dog. Take a breath here, and then you can walk your hands toward your feet and come into a forward fold. You're welcome to bend your knees as much as you'd like, and you're also welcome to bring your legs as far apart as you'd like. You can shake your head yes and no. Try to shift the weight forward so that your heels are under your hips and your toes are heavy and your heels are light. Try to take smooth and even breaths. And go ahead and bend your legs even further. You can bring your hands to your hips and come up to stand. You can go ahead and move your pillow or your folded blanket out of the way for now. And we'll go ahead and do some side bends. So standing with your feet about shoulder width apart, lift the right arm, go nice and tall, and lean to the left. You want to try to continue to keep some length in this left side, not letting yourself collapse, making sure that you're pulling up just as much as you're pulling over. And go ahead and switch sides, growing tall through the left arm, and continuing to keep that length while you gently stretch to the right. And we'll switch, stretching one more time on each side, growing tall, and then leaning over to the left. And last side, growing tall and leaning to the right. Good. And if you'd like, you can bring your feet a little bit wider apart. We're going to do just a willow tree gentle twist, and you can let your arms gently swing from side to side. If you keep your feet flat on the ground, you'll feel this twist more in your upper back. If you'd like to move it a little lower, you can let the heel come off the ground as you twist. You can try both variations and see which one you like better. And go ahead and come back to stillness. And you can bring your feet about shoulder width apart, or if you'd like, you can even bring them together. We're going to move through a few mountain to chair flows. We'll start by sweeping the arms up and bringing our weight back into our heels and sitting like we're sitting in a chair. If you glance down at your knees, you should be able to see your toes peeking out underneath your knee, or be able to see your toes peeking out under your knees. There you go. And if you can, pull your weight a little bit farther back and maybe come up a little higher. On your next exhale, bring your hands together and stand. And we'll do a few of those, moving with the rhythm of our breathing. We have lots of noise in our background today. It's just the kind of day it is, I suppose. I'm going to go make sure the door is closed. You can continue to take some breaths with your hands together. All right, so doing a few chairs with the breath. So inhaling, sweeping the arms up and sitting back. And exhaling, bringing your hands together to stand. Inhaling, sweep the arms up and sitting back. And exhaling, hands together and stand. Inhale, sweep and sit back. Exhale, stand. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, stand. 2 more. Inhale and rise. And last one. Inhale to sit back and exhale to stand. Very good. We'll go ahead and move into tree pose. So shifting the weight into your left foot, left toes facing forward. You can put your hands on your hips and turn that right foot out. You can keep your toes right there on the ground, lifting your chest, bringing your shoulders away from your ears, and feeling yourself grow taller. If you'd like, you can bring your foot to your calf, or using your hand to support it, you can bring it up to your inner thigh. Anywhere except for on your knee is fine. So find a focal spot to keep your eyes glued to. Feel that lower belly lift, tailbone pointing toward the ground. Press through all 5 of your toes, ball of your foot and your heel. You can bring your hands together at your chest. You can even float them up overhead. We'll take 3 more breaths here. Good. And then we'll turn the knee back in and lower the foot. Shift the weight over to the right. Roll out your left foot, going both directions. Good. And with the right toes pointing forward, you can turn the left foot out. You can begin by keeping the toes on the ground, lifting the lower belly, lowering the shoulders, finding that focal spot for your eyes. And if you're feeling stable, you can try to lift the foot to the calf or up to your inner thigh. And you can keep your hands on your hips, bring them together, or raise them up overhead. Again, spread through, could be a little wobbly, all 5 of your toes, pressing them into the ground without gripping them. And continue to keep the breath flowing smoothly in and out through your nose. 2 more breaths here. Good. Turn the knee in, lower it, shift to your left foot to roll that right foot out. And we'll come into a wide-legged stance. So you can bring your feet pretty wide apart, maybe as wide as your hands, or you can make your stance more narrow. You want to turn your toes ever so slightly in so that your second toes are pointing straight forward. You can lift your thighs up towards your hips. And then we're going to externally rotate the right foot. So bringing the heel towards the front, toe out to the short side of your mat, while keeping that left toe slightly turned in. Check to make sure your right heel is in line with the center of your left arch. And you can go ahead and bend that right leg so that your knee is over your ankle and not farther forward. Keep your hips pointing forward, shoulders pointing forward. Make sure your right knee is pointing the same direction as that second toe. And then you can bring your arms straight out to the side, feeling the length between your fingertips and turning to look over the right fingertips. Then we'll take 3 breaths here in Warrior 2. Good. Straighten the right foot. You can bring your hands back to your hips. Turn that right toe in so that that second toe is pointing forward, and externally rotate the left, making sure that that left heel aligns with the center of your right foot. Hips and shoulders are squared forward, and you can go ahead and bend the left leg. So the left hip is hugging under, left knees pointing the same direction as your second left toe. Right thigh is engaged, and you can feel that length between your fingertips and turn to gaze over your left fingertips. Lift your lower belly, point your tailbone down toward the ground, feel your shoulders pulling away from your ears, and breathe. Do 2 more breaths here. Good. And go ahead and straighten the left leg. Bring your hands back to your hips. Point your toes in. You can shorten your stance a little bit. We're going to move into triangle pose. So we'll turn the right foot out again like we did before, making sure the heel intersects the arch, making sure this left thigh is engaged, but we're going to keep it straight this time. Arms straight out to the side and hinging at the hips rather than the waist. So we're not bending at the waist, but we're moving at the hips. So you're almost feeling your hips and pull back to the left as your arms pull to the right. And then you can let your right hand gently rest on the inside of your leg. Left arm can be on your hip or straight up overhead. And see if you can rotate your chest up toward the ceiling. And we'll hold for 3 breaths. Good. And come back up. Bring your hands back to your hips. Right toes turn in, and now the left toes turn out. Engage that left thigh. Bring your arms straight out and pulling your hips to the right while your arms pull straight to the left, keeping the side waist long. And when you can't pull any farther forward, you can drop the hand to the inside of your leg and either bring the other hand straight up or on your hip. If you can, it may not turn too much, but see if you can twist your chest ever so slightly up toward the ceiling. Good. And come back up. We'll turn both toes forward. If you'd like to make your stance a little wider, you can. Again, engage both thighs. Lengthen through the collarbone. You can bring your hands to your hips and leading with the chest, begin to fold forward. Keep your back as flat as you can for as long as you can, and then you can let yourself round forward. You can always put your hands on a block or a chair or a pillow if they don't easily reach the ground. You can also bend your legs. Again, bring that weight forward so your toes are ever so slightly heavier than your heels. And you can give your head a little gentle twist from side to side, moving up and down. Continue to keep those thighs engaged, pulling them up and so that you're allowing your hamstrings to release. We'll do 2 more breaths. Good. Come back up to that flat back position. You can bend your legs and come up to stand. Very good. All right, we're going to heel toe to bring your feet a little bit closer together. And we're going to move into a goddess pose flow. So bending the legs so that your knees are just over your ankles. You can widen or shorten your stance however you'd like. You can go ahead and bring your hands into a cactus arm, or you can keep them on your hips. And if you'd like to do a little bit of a calf workout and move with this, we'll straighten and come up to, whoop, kind of challenging, up. On an inhale and exhale, lower. Inhale to straighten and come up on your toes. Exhale to lower. You can also just straighten and not come up on your toes. When you pull into those cactus arms, see if you can feel your shoulder blades coming together behind you. Inhaling with the rise and exhaling to lower. Good. Go ahead and straighten, bring your hands to your hips. You can walk your feet together and we'll go ahead and move down to the ground. If you've got that pillow or folded blanket handy, we'll go ahead and sit up on a blanket or a pillow and bring your legs straight out in front of you. If you have a strap, you can go ahead and grab it. Sitting in a way that allows you to have length through your spine, that might mean your knees need to bend a little bit, or that you even want to sit up on a second pillow or folded blanket. And you can wrap the strap along the soles of your feet, and you can hold on to the strap to help you keep that length through your spine. If your legs are straight, you can imagine that your quads are pressing into the ground, feet flexed, shoulders pulling away from your ears, lower belly lifted. Take a couple breaths here. So we're going for a nice straight back. We're not folding forward just yet. If you're pregnant or if this is a deep enough of a hamstring stretch for you, you can stay right here. If you'd like to begin to pull forward a little bit, feeling both of your sitting bones on the ground and hinging at your sitting bones rather than at your back, you can see if you've got some space to move forward. And you may not go very far. A lot of people have tight hamstrings. So just move as far as you are able to while keeping that integrity of the alignment in your back. And you're welcome to bend your knees a little bit if that helps. And keep your breath flowing. And release. And we'll go ahead. I'm going to turn. You can stay here if you'd like, but I'm going to turn so you can see me. And we're going to bring one foot straight out to the side and the other pulling in toward the inner thigh. And if you want, if you've got that pillow there, you can put it underneath your folded knee to help support it. So we're going to use the strap again to wrap around the bottom of your foot. And holding on to the strap, you can see if you can twist your torso toward the extended foot. And see if you can feel both sitting bones flat on the ground. And if you've got some space, you can gently fold forward with your chest turned toward the extended leg. You might not need the strap. You might be able to just reach your feet without it. Either way is completely fine. And you're also welcome to bend that leg a little bit if that helps. Good. And release. This time we're going to bend to that same side, but with the torso facing forward. So you can put your hand On the floor in front of you, lift your left arm up if you've got your right leg extended, otherwise reverse it. And you can feel a stretch through your left side, keeping your chest facing forward, and reach for your right toes. Now, if you've got a little bit more flexibility in your hamstrings and you want to put your hand on your foot, you can do that. Some people can reach behind their foot or from their foot. Important thing is just keep your torso to the front. Feel the stretch through the left side or the right side if you've got the other foot extended. And try to keep both sitting bones on the ground. Good. Come back up, and we'll switch legs. I'm bringing the right leg in and extending the left, even though on the video it probably looks like it's the opposite. Just switch and do the side you haven't done yet. And we'll start with the strap. And we'll start with the chest turned towards the foot. Again, keeping both sitting bones on the ground, bending your knee if you need to. And you can stay here, or if you've got some space, bending at your sitting bones rather than at your upper back. You can begin to move forward. Keep your chest turned towards that extended leg. Good. And release. You can move the strap out of the way. And you can either put your hand in front of the extended leg, lift the right arm straight up, and fold the left with your hand on the ground. Or if you'd like to reach for your toes, keeping your chest forward, trying to keep as much length through that left side as possible, and continuing to breathe. Try to feel both sitting bones on the ground. Good. And come back up. And we'll go ahead and move to the ground, lying all the way on your back. If you want to put a pillow under your shoulders and head, you're welcome to do that. Go ahead and grab your strap. And you can either keep one leg bent, if that helps. We're going to bring the leg straight up with the strap. So you can keep the supported leg bent, or you can go ahead and straighten it, whatever works better for you. And you can take your strap, put it around the sole of your foot, and lift that foot up. Now you're wanting to keep that right heel over your right hip. And you're welcome to keep your leg, I don't know if you can see, but my leg is bent here. You're welcome to keep it bent. Or if you've got the space in your hamstrings to straighten it, you're also welcome to straighten it. But we're not trying to pull the foot toward your forehead, just straight up toward the ceiling. So again, bent is fine, or straighten. And the same thing with the extended foot. It can be extended with that heel pulling away from you, or you can put it bent, whatever feels better in your body. But pull that leg down toward the ground, and that'll give your lower back a little bit of a release. And we'll take a couple more breaths here. Good. And we'll go ahead and release and switch. So again, you can keep this leg bent, or you can extend it and bring your left knee in toward your chest, wrapping the strap around your foot, and either keeping it bent or straightening it, but keeping the hip over your hip, keeping your heel over your hip. And as you pull straight down toward your hip, this is nice for your lower back. If your leg is extended, you can pull that extended heel away from you. And if your hands are getting tired from the grip, you can wrap the strap around your hand. And we'll take 2 more breaths here. Good. And release. Well done with the strap. You can move it off to the side. And we'll go ahead and come into a reclined pigeon pose, crossing the right leg over the left, and either staying here, maybe putting some gentle pressure on your inner thigh, or you can interlace your hands behind your left leg and pull it in towards your chest. And go ahead and keep your feet flexed here. And lower back pressing down into the ground. Good. And we'll switch. Crossing the left over the right, and either staying right here or interlacing your hands behind your right knee and pulling it in towards your chest while keeping your feet flexed and keeping your lower back on the ground. Good. And we'll go ahead and do a simple spinal twist. If you're pregnant, you can go ahead and roll onto your left side and move into your resting pose. Otherwise, you can let your knees fall to the right, letting that left shoulder be heavy. And if it feels okay, you can let your head look over your left shoulder. And take a few breaths here. And switch to the other side, letting your knees fall to the left while keeping your right shoulder heavy. And bring your knees back up, and we'll go ahead and move into our resting pose. So you can keep your legs bent, spreading your ankles and letting your knees fall together. You can rest your hands on your belly, or you can extend your hands out to the side. You're also welcome to straighten your legs, maybe having them a little wider than mat width apart. Whatever helps you feel the most restful, go ahead and take a moment now and get into your comfortable resting pose. Allow your breath to move in a rhythm that's natural for you, not forcing it to be any way other than what it wants to be right now. And see if you can allow your body to become heavy against the ground, letting the floor support you. Do a quick scan of your body to see if there's any place where you're holding tension and you might be able to release the tension just a little bit. For just a couple minutes here, see if you can allow yourself to relax fully and deeply. You can let your mind wander wherever it'd like to go, and you can have your eyes opened or closed. Now bring your awareness back to the room. Feel the ground beneath you. Allow your fingers and toes to wiggle gently. Whenever you're ready, you can allow your eyes to open. You can roll over onto your left side and using your hands to support yourself, slowly make your way back to a comfortable seated position. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I look forward to practicing again